Hey, welcome back to MVP Hot Wheels. This is Diesel Mac, and I was continuing putting in a bunch of the Corgi castings that were offered in Hot Wheels packages, or Mattel packages, however, either way. And came across these, and I just figured I have to. There's no way getting around this. This is a definite, what was Mattel thinking type of situation. I know I haven't done one for a while, and I figured, why not just go ahead and throw it out there? So one of these is called Fire Eater 2, and the other one is called Flame Stopper 2. Right? Does that sound right? Yeah. Just had to make sure. It sounds crazy because it's not like the Flame Stopper and the Fire Eater. Well, the Fire Eater maybe could get away with it, but the Flame Stopper, not so much. So obviously in the 90s, Corgi was bought out by Mattel. UK company, and they went through, and especially in the mid 90s, used a bunch of their castings even for their main line. And so you could see from like the late 400 numbers to the early 600 numbers, there's a bunch of Corgi castings kind of thrown in to the collector number series there, and one of them is this one, the Fire Eater 2. Now, pretty cool vehicle, something that was different. Not nearly quite a 1/64 scale, probably closer to 187, because we know how big the these fire engines can get, especially if you see, right, it's got 4 doors there in the front, so it's obviously a little bit bigger than a regular type of engine, but you got this nice big boom with the bucket on there, so pretty cool piece. But they named it Fire or Flame Stopper 2. Now, if you know what the Flame Stopper looks like from the original, or the original Flame Stopper, it looks like this. Way cooler, right? You got this boom that lifts up, you got this nozzle out here, this thing's out here spraying thousands of gallons of water. From what tank, I don't know. I guess he just hooks up to the fire hydrant, right? And he's stopping flames with that, right? Throwing water everywhere, right? This guy's out here saving cats, right? Goes to the tree, right? There's not so much any flame stopping that's going to be happening with this. Even the engine, the base has the name of fire engine on there. You could have just went with that, right? So I don't know who was in charge of naming the vehicles, but they did a poor job. Me being a production person and running a plant, and I've got a green belt and all that kind of stuff to kind of help make sure that we're doing very efficient and all that kind of stuff. But when it comes to products and all that kind of stuff, I know I'm not super involved. They've been around for a while for the stuff that we make anyway, but if we were to change something, I would definitely pay attention to what we're doing, especially if we're trying to sell to the public. Goodness, I mean, you could have just used fire engine. So what was Mattel thinking? Right now, I've also been thinking, like, what would it take to bring production back to the United States, right? I know it's been gone since like the late 60s, maybe early 70s, I would say at the latest. But, right, I think the only way that it would probably happen, could potentially happen, is I'd have to, build a plant that was set up for taking these molds and being able to, warm up the metal to fill the molds, warm up the plastic, get all the plastic in, have some type of tampo processing, whatever they're doing nowadays, to get all these tampos on there, right? And then go to them and say, hey, I've already have a plant. Do you want to manufacture at my plant, basically, and have a contract with them? I think that's the only way, right? Because I've been thinking about, since I, work at a plant myself, right? And even updating our plant that I work at, I was just like, well, why not, what would it take to make Hot Wheels here, right? And how much more expensive would they be, right? How much does the materials cost to bring over here and then make your biggest, I think, majority of people that buy Hot Wheels are here in the US. So if you have the finished product already here, wouldn't that save some money on, importing them in, especially with some of the import tax and everything like that? But I don't know. I was just thinking. I think it'd be kind of cool, but you know, whoever was in charge of putting names on cars back at Mattel during the mid '90s failed at this one. You could have just used that name. This is Fire Eater 2. Now this is closer to what the Fire Eater looks like from original in the Mattel or Hot Wheels side of it. This again fairly small, but that's just, you know, what they got when they took over the Corgi stuff. So, but this also has a name called Fire Tender. You could have left that as well, right? So you already had names on the bases that was used, I guess. Maybe you couldn't use it, maybe, but you have it on the base, right? If you couldn't use the name on the packaging, how'd you get away with it on the base? I don't know. Maybe there wasn't strict rules. If there wasn't any rules, then I would have just named it what was on the base already. That would have been the easiest, especially if somebody was a Corgi collector, right? They would have been like, Fire Eater 2. That thing's called the Fire Tender. What is wrong with these people, right? And then you might not have somebody move over to Hot Wheels now that Corgi's. I don't know. I'm just thinking there's all kinds of avenues to kind of go down and think about, but you know, for me, I had to just make this video. It's been a while since I made a What Was Mattel Thinking, and it just struck me, like, I've got the, you know, Mattel Hot Wheels version here, and it's close, right? I mean, you've got hoses painted on the side. I don't see, I think there's a ladder somewhere, maybe not on this one, maybe it's not this one. So no ladder, but at least there's some resemblance of the same. But I mean, you could have just went ahead and named it, you know, Fire Tender, and that would have been fine. Nobody would be making videos about what were you thinking, like me. But these are up on the website. I've been trying to go through and add all the different Corgi stuff as well, since I'm in the mid '90s. I had already put in a bunch of stuff in there already, so there was like blank pictures and the descriptions weren't complete and all that kind of stuff. So I figured instead of adding, you know, going in and adding more descriptive data for other vehicles that aren't in there, just go ahead and finish some of the stuff that I have on there. But Flame Stopper 2, there's a bunch of these. I don't know how to say a bunch. There's 5 different variations of these. All the other ones have the Corgi wheels and supposedly have a Hot Wheels logo base, like that one there. I don't have any of those yet. I do have, you know, one of these in a 3-pack, but it doesn't have a Hot Wheels logo base. It has the Corgi base, even though it's in a Hot Wheels package. But it's in a super early one, so I didn't expect it to. Same thing with this one. There's a couple variations of this one with the Corgi wheels as well. But you can see these on MVP Hot Wheels. You can add them to your collection. They were part of the collector number series. You could find one of these two in one of the action packs, or maybe both of them. I don't know. There was a couple different places to find these two, and they're all the same, with 5 spokes so far that I've seen. And I still got a bunch of actual flame stoppers to put in there, I think. Some cool stuff on this one, like the number that's written in here, or where's that number at? Is that on the other side? There we go. So that 50272048, there's some different numbers that are in there. Not particularly, I don't think most people really care, but just in case you're a huge flame stopper or just, you know, fire department stuff in general, and you really want every little detail that's different, there's some stuff to look at. There's some different base on here. So like here, that 1988, see how the 88's italicized? You can get it with the normal 88 and with this italicized on a couple of them. But I'll make a video of the flame stoppers down the road once I get them all kind of put in there. But I figured, why not? You know, I had these out. I already got pictures of them. They're up on the MVP Hot Wheels website, and it wouldn't take a whole lot, right? I mean, you could have just used the names that were on there if you weren't allowed to. Maybe, I guess. I don't know. I mean, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I just was like, they could have done a better job, right? I mean, these two not even close. And look at the size comparison. I mean, this thing, right, you got the big wheels. He's ready to go out into the forest and start knocking down that flame, right? This guy's over here like, oh, is your cat caught up in the tree? Let me help you here, you know. Some, you know, early 70s guy gets out of there and, you know, has his son get in the bucket and goes out there and rescues the cat with that thing. I don't know. I'm just making fun of it now. But, yeah. So, hope you enjoyed the video. Hit the like button, subscribe, head over to the MVP Hot Wheels website and subscribe over there. We're building up a couple of new subscribers. And once we hit 50, we'll do a $50 giveaway every month. And as the number of subscribers grows, the value of the prize grows. So, if we get 100 subscribers, it'll be a $100 car, right? And we'll do it every month. So head over there and subscribe. It's $5 a month, not a big deal. And you get to track your collection on there. If you have questions about it, right, you can get on Facebook. I have a Facebook MVP Hot Wheels Facebook group. You could ask me directly on there. You could find me through the messaging stuff, and you know, send me a message on there to help out, whatever. But pretty cool website. The only one you can use to kind of narrow down your cars if you don't know the actual name, like this one. This should pop up as Fire Engine. I'll have to go back and do some testing on that, but if it doesn't, I'll talk to the developer, because it should be working with the base name that's on there, since this one is different. If there's no name, obviously just use all the filters. You know, red 5-spoke, gray base, China base, you know, all that kind of stuff, and it should narrow you down pretty quickly. But anyhow, what was Mattel thinking? Hope you enjoyed it. Hit the like button, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Right, bye.